What's good, Panther Nation? It's your boy, Myron McRae, a.k.a. Tornado McRae, across the skies of the internet, here with another episode of Panther Pride TV, your one-stop shop for all your Panther notifications and your Panther obligations. And happy Thursday to y'all. Hope we enjoyed the preseason game tonight. Hey, also, this is the 100th episode I've done with you guys. That's actually kind of cool. We on. Personally, this is the 100th episode I've recorded with y'all, so thank y'all for sticking with me for 100 episodes. I greatly appreciate all the love and support that you guys have embraced me with, and so on and so forth. But we're going to get into today's docket. I may go a little quick because I got to just run through this and get up out the door. However, I love y'all, so please bear with me. If I'm speaking fast, put it on like times 0.75. It'll probably make more sense. But, guys, we're going to get into it. First thing I do want to talk about is what to look for in tonight's preseason game. Obviously, these are some of the key takeaways that we're going to be looking at. So, number one, the backup competition between Bryce Perkins and Jack Plummer. Now, is Perkins going to be good enough to take Plummer's spot? Is Plummer going to solidify himself? I think that's going to be fun to watch. I honestly am going to enjoy looking at that. And next, the thing I've been watching all year is the kicking competition. Personally, I think Wright has the lead even heading into this game. I am pretty confident in Matthew Wright. However, Ryan Fitzgerald does still make a case for himself. So we're going to be looking at that. Obviously, the big one in the room will be which wide receiver makes the most noise to avoid getting cut. And sitting there saying, hey, I am worthy of being in this starting rotation, or at least on the depth chart of the starters and the backups, rather than on the practice squad. Next, you got to look at how special teams are playing to a factor into the final cut. So who can make plays both on kick return, punt return, kick off, and just make themselves a viable asset outside of their traditional position. And lastly, Canales and Avira will be calling all the plays on Thursday. And I was right. Canales has not called any offensive plays this entire offseason. It has been Brad Idzik. So for those of you complaining about the offense, just know it has not been Canales calling these plays. They confirmed that on Panthers.com. Canales has not been calling the plays all preseason during the games, and neither has Aviro. So both of them will be calling the plays on Thursday. And honestly, I think that is going to make a difference. Well, I don't even think. I know that's going to make a difference heading into the season. So for those of you who have been complaining about the offensive output during the preseason, the play calls have not even been from our traditional play caller. Keep that in mind. Neither have the defensive plays. So keep that in mind, which is why I be telling y'all to pump the brakes a little bit. Just pump them a little bit. But we're going to move on and go into a highlight that I do like. And it's about our number 2 corner right now in Mike Jackson, how he's established himself since he's been in Carolina last year, since he got traded here, and just the way he's flowed effortlessly into the defense. I almost said offense for some reason. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is because Panthers.com, they did a article on him and just showcasing how his 365 has been, because he actually hasn't been here a full year yet, but showcasing his presence and what he's meant for this team. And so it started off with him himself speaking on it and being named the starter when he got traded here. He says this: I feel like a lot has changed. It just showed me to just always believe in me. Like when I got traded here, I knew I was just coming in as a filler guy because the starter got hurt. But for my thing, it was like you handed me the playbook and said, be ready with the ones like I'm starting. So my whole goal was to start the whole year. And for now, it's like, yeah, I got the contract. But to be honest, that really doesn't mean anything because it's all about what I did today. And I respect that because he's sitting there basically saying, hey, y'all gave me the opportunity. Now I'm not letting it go. Yeah, I came in to fill a role and be a starter to fill a role. But once y'all gave me the keys, y'all gonna have to pry them from me. Y'all gonna have to tell me I'm not good enough to be a starter. And so he has continued to flourish and establish himself in Carolina's defense, and it's honestly paid a lot of dividends. So much so that our star corner, J.C. Horn, has even given him praise, saying when he first came in, I thought he was in like year 9. He spent time in New England with Bill Belichick, one of the smartest minds ever, and just getting little tips and stuff from him has helped my game tremendously. And just the mindset that we attack every day with, like you see us before practice getting releases in together. After practice, we get extra work. And we feed off each other and try to help each other get better every day. So I'm definitely appreciative of him being here. And it says a lot about our star corner who Carolina has invested so much in, praising the number 2 guy they brought in, essentially. I know some of you're not keen on Mike Jackson. You thought over the offseason we should have brought in another corner or something of that nature. And I'm not going to say you're wrong in that mindset. I can see why you think that. But also, Carolina is showing to be a team that wants to develop a player or develop those players into the system. So rather than abandoning Mike, they're like, hey, yo, we brought you in. All right, skedaddle. They're like, nah, prove us to why you deserve to still be the starter. Prove to why you deserve to be that number 2 corner. Prove us as to why you are that guy across from J.C. Horn, and that includes not only what you do on game film, but also in practice, also in the meetings, also just in the extra reps that you do after practice and before practice. Those little things go a long way. And because of that, Mike has firmly set himself apart and said, no, I'm here to stay. And at least going into the start of this season, he is the number 2 corner, and him and JC will be the duo we rock with. So I'm excited to see it. I'm thankful to see it. And truthfully, I do think it's going to pay dividends. Number 3 today is I want to take a look at the roster the last couple years. And the reason why is because it came from a comment from the last video. This isn't part of the viewer. This isn't part of like the viewer comment segment that I do, but this comment sparked my brain immediately. So no shade to this person, none whatsoever to this person. Thank you for the comment, bro. But I saw this comment and my brain just immediately started went to work. So here was the comment. The comment itself came from Kevy Kev 388. And Kev, just because you're here, I'll give you a. So Kev said the team needs linebackers, cornerbacks, and O-line depth and D-line. All the things they needed before Bryce got here. Instead, they invested their best draft picks, wide receivers, tight end, and running backs, and big paychecks to offense to try and make Bryce look good. It's not working out. Should have been busy drafting O-line depth and defense. Then maybe they could win some games despite bad to mediocre quarterback play. All right. So let's do this breakdown real quick because of how you're talking about the offense, man, because I got to speak up for it, and let's be realistic about it. So first things first, 2022, right? Before Bryce got here. So that same 22 roster that went 1-4 under Matt Rule to start the year, went 6-6 under Steve Wilkes to finish 7-10, and the offensive coordinator was Ben McAdoo. At that time, quarterback, you had Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, and P.J. Walker. Running back-wise, you had Christian McCaffrey and Deontay. You had Deontay Foreman and Christian McCaffrey before the trade, before he was traded. At receiver, you had DJ Moore, Terrence Marshall, Steve Smith, Laviska Shenault, and Robbie Chosen. And then tight end, you had Tommy Tremble, Ian Thomas, Giovanni Ricci, and the O-line was the same. The O-line was the same as well. You have a more established coach in Steve Wilkes, and that team turned into a 6-win team off rip, almost, and was a 7-win team at 7-10. So, you trade away Christian McCaffrey, our best running back. And we lost Deontay Foreman. We traded away DJ Moore to get up in the draft. And you fast forward. So you're going into 2023, and you're giving Bryce Young with no running back. You go and get Miles Sanders, who you think is going to be that guy, out of Philly, and I didn't even like that signing. I'll be honest with you there. So you get Miles Sanders, You're going with a new coach under Reich. You don't keep Wilkes. So now you have a new system coming in under Frank Reich. You get a new offensive coordinator, Thomas Brown. You don't keep offensive-minded Ben McAdoo. Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard are your running backs now, and Miles Sanders did not pan out. Chuba started to come into his own. You go and get Adam Thielen, who is an established receiver, but after that, you go and get Jonathan Mingo in the draft. You sign DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault still here, Terrace Marshall, and Amir Smith-Marset. And at tight end, the only difference is you make, instead of Giovanni Ritchie, who was still here, Hayden Hurst gets most of those reps. So it's Tommy Tremble, Hayden Hurst, and Ian Thomas then. And this team goes 2-15, which is to be expected because of how much turnover that is, bro. Did you expect Bryce to come in with that team based off who he lost? Imagine Bryce with Deontay Foreman, Christian McCaffrey for a little bit, and a DJ Moore. Like, with a Ben McAdoo as his offensive coordinator and Steve Wilkes as his head coach. So, okay, you want to talk about that. Then we go into 2024. Carolina goes and gets Coach Canales, who revived Baker Mayfield's career down in Tampa. And we just thought we had Baker on practice squad playing scout defense. And Baker goes and balls out under Canales. So it makes sense. Canales is the play caller on offense. And we start moving. Chuba Hubbard comes into his own. Jonathan Brooks essentially becomes the number 2 because, like I said, Miles Sanders just craps the bed. Adam Thielen comes in. We draft Xavier, then get David Moore, Deontay Johnson, Jalen Coker, and Jonathan Mingo's still there. And we all know the Deontay Johnson thing was a bad signing. Coker comes into his own. X comes into his own. David Moore comes into his own. And Mingo, we lose. And we go get Jatavian Sanders. And for added context, I need y'all to know this. Because you want to sit there and say we wasted draft picks and whatnot. The draftees, 2023, our first 3 picks. Round 1, Bryce Young. Round 2, Jonathan Mingo. Round 3, DJ Johnson, a linebacker. Second year, our first 3 draft picks, because we needed another one to go aside Thielen. Round 1, Xavier at wide receiver. Round 2, another running back because Miles Sanders wasn't doing it, and Jonathan Brooks. And round 3, a linebacker in Trevin Wallace. Going to 2025 because y'all didn't like how X panned out last year and you think he's trash for some god-awful reason. But you know what? It's okay. Round 1, we go and get T-Mac. Then round 2, we go and get a D-end in Nick Scorton. And round 3, we go and get Umami Ellen. The first 3 rounds are the best draft picks in my mind. So the simple fact that we wasted them on tight ends, like, what are we talking about here? Yes, we went and got Bryce, and we went and got receiver help. Because we gave away our best receiver, we were trying to find another one to go alongside Thielen. But we've also been picking a defensive player in this aspect. If JC's not hurt, we're not bad. If we're healthy, our defense is not bad. 2023, JC got hurt and was out for most of the year, if not all the year. 2024, Derek Brown gets hurt. He's out for all of the year. That makes a difference when your 2-star players are gone. But you're mad that we went on defense because we had essentially nothing but a consistent O-line. See, that's what doesn't make sense. And then you want to sit there and say mediocre quarterback play. If we go into 2024, yes, Bryce sucked at the beginning of the year. I will say that on this channel. Bryce sucked at the beginning of the year. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But when he came back, he balled out. 2023, if you go back and watch those games, there are plenty of times where the receivers dropped passes where Bryce was making dimes. What are we talking about here? And then, again, we go back into 2024. We all know if the defense is healthy and holds water, we beat Kansas City. If Xavier just doesn't drop that pass against Philly, we beat Philly. That puts us at 7-10. That puts us right in contention for the NFC South. Maybe even a wild card. Like, this is what I mean by some of y'all freaking out saying we're going to be a top 10 draft pick. We were 2 to 3 to 4 games from being an 8-win team last year. 2 for sure. And I want to say 3 to 4. We were 2 away from 7 wins. And there are another 2 games where we were almost a 9-win team just last year. Literally this close. So for me to sit there and be like, hey, yo, we are potentially an 8-win to 10-win team this year, and y'all sitting there saying, no, we're not, based off the preseason, makes absolutely no sense to me. If that's the negative world, you're talking about is realistic, why should I be real to myself? If you're real to yourself, go back and look at that game, and you're going to sit there and tell me we weren't a potential 7-8-win team? Based off play, if we were healthy in the play, we are not a 7-8-win team at minimum. At minimum. If you want to be real. If we're going to be real about it, let's go. Come on now. I get the last few years have been rough. But we were 2 possessions. A defensive stop and an offensive catch from being the same level that we were at the end of 2022. So yes, we are going in the right direction. Come on now, y'all. Like I'm speaking with passion because it feels like the negativity and the horror that Federer left. Yes, Federer left a lot of bad stuff, bro. I am not knocking that at all. Y'all are right. Y'all are right. But come on, bro. And those were the Super Bowl. Those are the people who played in the Super Bowl. I'm not even counting the other games we could probably go back and win if we were healthy and just had that consistent play all year. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Y'all say y'all want to be real with yourself and you want to say these things, but you're looking at preseason rather than the regular season when it actually counted and we actually had to keep our starters out there and play the way we had to play. That's all I got, man. And then going into the Panther freeze frame of the day, got this on the last practice because it is the end of training camp and we're getting locked up, ready to rock and roll for the season. I thought this was a great photo to end training camp on, and I like it. And lastly, guys, it is time as we go into Panther Nation. Speaking your truth. And the first comment comes from Justin Porch 7310. My man says, I think you cannot put too much into the preseason as far as the record goes because we are more worried about young player development and depth on the roster. Preseason wins do not matter at the end of the day. Thank you, Justin. Thank you. Like, I genuinely don't care about preseason, bro. I'll watch it and I'm looking for development and growth and things of that nature. But if we lose, we lose. And at the end of the day, I would rather our offense and our defense be stagnant and figure it out now in preseason and look bad in preseason than to be making these mistakes in regular season. Number 4, next comment comes from Wes X Justin. He says, when we say it's just preseason every year though, fam, then the regular season ends up being the same way. Sorry, but I cannot just calm down. The Panthers are going to have to calm me down by showing me they got it. hopefully my breakdown just showed you that we're going in the right direction. Like, hopefully that breakdown I just did showed you that we got it and we're going in the right direction. Because 7-10, 2-15, 5-12 to potentially 7-10 if we want to be honest about it. And then we're going back in the right direction, bro. So I don't know, maybe I might do a full breakdown on that one. And then lastly, comes from Andy Doing, says people complaining about preseason should just submit an inquiry to Roger Goodell to disqualify our entire season and go 0-17 if they feel truly passionate about it. Hey, Andy came in hot with that one. My man came in hot with that one, boy. But guys, that's all I have for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell at the bottom and let me know. And honestly, just do that to make sure you're always getting this content. 2, comment below and let me know, what are you excited for in the final preseason game? How do you feel about Mike Jackson being the number 2 corner? And are you confident in him heading into the season? And thirdly, bro, just relook at the roster breakdown, and you tell me if we are not trending in the right direction, especially just off record alone. 7-10, the 2-15, the 5-12. If you're looking at a graph chart, that literally means we came down and we were up, came down, and we're going back up again. So y'all can let me know if I'm crazy. Y'all could say, hey, I'm speaking it into existence. I'm going in the right direction. Let me know, because at the end of the day, what do I know? I'm just a skinny brother with 2 tats. Peace, brother, all you Panther Nation. Take care, later days, and as always, keep pounding. I'll see you next time.